What's up guys, Jeff Cavalier, ATHLEAN-X.com. So I'm sure you've been told to do lots of incline bench press if you want to build your upper chest. And of course, if you want to get that lower chest, you're going to want to make sure that you do lots of decline bench presses as well. And you don't want to forget the all-important flat bench press to work the overall development of your chest. And of course, don't forget to do dips, because dips are a great way to build your chest. Now that's all great, but what if you've already done all those exercises and you continue to do them, but you're not happy with your chest? Today I want to show you 8 non-bench chest building alternatives that you can start using to get better results from your chest training. So first, it makes sense to look at what might be wrong with the other exercises that you have been doing and why they're not working for you. And the fact is, you can look really easily and see that when we do, let's say, a dip here again, look at the position of the hands. At no point do they get closer to each other. They're fixed on the handles and you're simply moving up and down. And no matter what variation of the bench press I'm doing, whether it be incline, flat, or decline, my hands don't really get that much closer together, especially if I'm using a barbell. They're literally fixed on the bar. But even when we do the dumbbell variations, we're not getting them anywhere more than to each other or meeting each other in the middle. They're not going across each other. And what I'm going to argue here for you is that it's not always about the weight that you're pushing, but the amount of activation that you're getting. And simply getting more activation by getting a full chest contraction is going to provide a much better stimulus for you to start seeing better results. And guess what? It's going to make those even better. And by the way, I'm going to show you a way that you can make your bench press even better. I'm going to hold that for the end of the video. But let's start with our first exercise. Now let's start with a simple one. It's a bodyweight exercise that we can all start doing right now and actually feel the difference. And it's a twisting push-up. And what you'll see here is we can get that arm more across our body, not by changing the position of the hand or the fact that the arm is actually still fixed in place on the ground, but by changing the position of our body in relation to the arm. So you can see that a regular push-up here, I'm fixed in space, but with this twisting push-up, I'm actually turning into the arm. So as I turn in, look what's happening here. If I hold my arm out in front of me and I turn my body into it, I've got this relative adduction. I've got the crossover that I'm looking for. And you can literally alternate sides left and right and feel the difference in the contraction. And I promise you, if you've struggled to see your chest grow, do these just to at least get yourself activated and have your chest start working more, and you're going to see better results from doing them. The next one here is called the plate squeeze, and this is actually really fun to do. And we could do it either as a chest activator right before the workout, or you could even do it in drop set fashion after some of those big bench exercises. Because remember, we're not going to abandon them completely. We're trying to make them work better for you. And in the plate squeeze, what I'm trying to do here is, yes, I'm only getting the plates to be able to touch in front of me in the middle, but I'm thinking about trying to push them through each other. If I can crush them right into each other, that would be ideal. And what we're doing is getting maximum chest activation here because we have this very strong isometric. And again, the heavier the plates you use here, the stronger you're going to have to push because that weight's going to want to slide and drop down. For an added challenge, you turn the plates around. Make sure you use the smooth sides on both, and that's going to make you really have to push hard. Again, no matter where you program it, this becomes a great option for you to get better chest activation. Okay, I kind of lied on the next one here because you do need a bench for this one, but not to do a bench press. We're doing a dumbbell pullover. And again, you might think, wait, dumbbell pullover is a back exercise. No, it can be a great upper chest exercise because look at how I'm doing it. The key here is not to pull with your elbows. Okay, you're not trying to lead with your elbows and let your elbows stay flared out on the sides of your body because that becomes a great lat exercise. But what I can do is I can take my hands and squeeze them together. I'm actually trying to turn them in like this as I pull down. So I'm squeezing my hands together, trying to adduct my hands into each other to pull the dumbbell forward. And I don't come all the way up. I'm trying to maintain that tension on the upper chest, and that happens in that fully stretched position and then up only about 30 or 40 degrees. If you've never tried this exercise with the intention of using it for your upper chest, try it. I promise you guys, you'll be surprised at how much you can recruit the area of that chest that usually seems to be hard to recruit for a lot of people. The next exercise up here is a dumbbell floor fly. Now you're probably saying, but I've done lots of flies before. But if you're not doing them on the floor, you're losing an opportunity to create a stimulus for more growth. See, here's the deal. When you do an unsupported chest fly on a bench, your shoulder becomes instantly jeopardized and the health of your shoulder becomes a high risk for doing that exercise because it simply is too much load for it to handle. with this arm in this outstretched, unsupported position. But when we do it on the floor, we don't just get support and therefore a safer alternative, but we get a better option for building a bigger chest and for better recruitment. Because we know we can still take advantage of the benefit of the fly, meaning the adduction component of the exercise that's lacking in the dip and the bench press, but we can do this here with a heavier weight. Because we have the floor to absorb our arms on the way down, we can eccentrically overload each and every rep, and if we have to, even cheat the dumbbells back up by pressing them to the top and continue to work on the eccentric portion of that rep to get better and better results. Guys, this one should definitely be in your routine, especially if you've been doing the other flies and either hurt yourself doing them or you haven't seen the results that you wanted to get from doing them. The next two exercises up here are going to be in the crossover category. And as you can see right here on the 3D crossover, that we are getting that adduction that we're looking for. We're going beyond midline, which makes this a great way to get peak contraction of your chest. Why I like this variation is because I can actually load up here. You can see that it's not just my chest that's powering this movement, but I have a lot of core activation here too that helps me to drive through. My hips are rotating as well. This gives me a chance to sort of do an overloaded crossover, a heavier version of a crossover. For all of those that say, but Jeff, you need the bench for the heavier weights. You need the dips for the heavier weights. Guys, you can load up any exercise. If you incorporate your body to allow you to push more weight, it's going to allow you to have the heavy exercise in your arsenal. This is a great way to do it with a crossover to get that adduction and the heavy loading at the same time. And now on the lighter side of things, we have the X crossover. So we go lighter on this. The focus here is not to try to move as much weight as possible, but to get that contraction. And again, this is another one that can be used like the plate squeeze as either an activator or at the end of a set as a drop set to try to burn out. But the key here is what we're actually targeting here is more of the lower chest. Okay, we can get down a lower chest. There is such a thing as the abdominal head of the pectoralis muscle. We can get there by letting our hands start high and then finish low. Okay, of course they're crossing over each other. That's the goal, to get peak contraction. But this high to low works more the lower chest the same way that a dip works the lower chest, because we know the hands start high and they wind up going down low as we finish out the dip. You want to recreate that here, but the goal here is I don't care what weight you need to use. You need to feel the contraction, and that is the whole key here of what this entire video is about. These are non-bench alternatives, and sometimes that means lightening the weight, but I promise you the overall end result is a better chest development because you've finally activated muscles you haven't been able to with the other big exercises. This next one, like the dumbbell upper chest pullover, is going to help us to hit that upper chest. And we know that we're not getting enough of that contraction and squeeze from the dip or from even the incline bench press. But here we can. The UCV Raise allows us to bring that dumbbell up and do what I always tell you should try to do, and that is follow the fibers. You see, because the upper chest fibers are going to start here at our collarbone and ride down in this direction. So if we can let the dumbbell come up and across in that direction, then we are following the fibers and we're getting a maximum contraction. And we also have that component of getting across our body because the dumbbell allows us to do that. Now you can do this as an alternative with a cable or a band as well for a more consistent resistance throughout the range of motion. But either way, I promise you, this is a great exercise and can be done anywhere in your chest workout to improve your ability to contract your chest and in the long run, get better results from your chest training. Finally, we have the one that's been called the Cavalier Crossover when I started to do this years ago, and this is now going to leave the delt out of it entirely. What you're doing here is you're taking that dumbbell, you're going to drive it across your body as you see, and we're getting that all-important adduction, but we're not getting the elevation from the UCV Raise. So let's say that you still feel that your shoulders are dominating that last movement, then this becomes your alternative here. You want to make sure, again, you do this exercise. I love doing it as a burnout, but it doesn't mean you have to go light here. You can take a heavy, heavy, heavy dumbbell and drive across your body and try to hold it for even just a split second on every single rep to really enhance and to enforce the contraction that drove that dumbbell there in the first place. If you get better at this, guys, I promise you this, and with all the other exercises, you're going to start seeing better results, and they're going to complement even those bigger exercises that haven't been performing for you as well, like the bench press and the dip. And while we're on the topic of the bench press and the dip, I promised you that I would give you a tip here at the end of the video that will help you to get even more out of those exercises, and this is it. Don't think about your hands, don't think about what your hands are holding, whether it be the handles on the dip or the dumbbells in your hands during a press. You think about your biceps, and if you can take your biceps and squeeze them together in any variation of that bench press, or squeeze them together while you're doing the dip, you're going to get way more activation in your chest, and those exercises are going to become far more productive for you as you especially start to complement them with these exercises. Guys, it's all about how you do the exercises and not just the ones that you're doing. And a lot of times you might have to check your ego at the door and start going for some of the lesser known big exercises to help those big exercises get better and do more for you in the long run. These 8 are some options that I want you to start trying. Guys, if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. You don't want to miss a video, so make sure you turn on your notification bell here. And if you haven't already checked out one of our programs, we put the science back in strength in all of them. They're available over at ATHLEAN-X.com. And finally, guys, check out any of our newer videos here. I'm going to link one here for you now to make sure that you keep your education going here. All of these videos are meant to help you to learn more about how your body works so that you can get more out of every single exercise and every single workout you do. All right, guys, we'll be back here again soon. See you.